Hello everyone, welcome back to Online Learners Hub. I hope you learned something from our first session about trigonometric ratios. Today we are going to learn about trigonometric ratios of some specific angles. So are you excited? Great, let's go to my computer screen and get started. Alright, today we are going to learn some trigonometric ratios of specific angles. Okay, trigonometric ratios of some specific angles. Now what are those angles? 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree and 90 degree. Okay, these 5 angles we are going to learn how to find the values. There is a chart, there is a big chart shown in your trigonometry book where all the ratios, all the values, let's say sine 0, sine 30, sine 45, all these values are written over there. But it is not possible, I wouldn't say not possible, but it is very difficult for the student to remember all the values. Okay, so today I'm going to show a trick to remember them forever. Okay, when I say forever, as long as you still lives, you will remember the value. I still remember the value. Okay, not because I'm brilliant, but I crack down these tricks. That's why I remember. Otherwise, when I speak generally, I cannot remember all the values. But if I use that trick, I can give the answer for all the all the values, all the angles, specific angles. All right, so let's get started. Let's start with 30 degree. Let me start with let me start with these 3 angles, 30, 45 and 60. This 0 degree and 90 degree we will do at last. Okay, so let's start with 30 and 60. All right, first. So to do that, we need a triangle. We need to draw a triangle, right? Without drawing a triangle, it is not possible to explain you. So let's go like this. Then we put the longer, and this one is smaller. It will be like this. Now see why I made the other side longer and the base shorter. I'll give you a reason as well. Now the shorter one, see the angle here, this angle and this angle. Always put the shorter side's angle, the angle which is adjacent to the shorter side, 60 degree. Okay, and the angle which is adjacent to the longer side, always put it 30. This is 30 degree, this is 60 degree. All right, now according to this diagram, 60 is the base angle. Okay, 60 is the base angle. So when you talk about 60, now this part will become base and this one will become perpendicular and this one will become hypotenuse. All right, so I have written hypo, that means hypotenuse. All right, so now let's look to the degrees. See, one thing I want you to understand this. Whenever you see 60 and 30, these 2 angles, whenever you see this, the longer part, the longer side always consider as root over 3. Okay, the longer side always consider as root over 3 and the shorter side always consider as 1. And when this root 3, the longer side is root 3 and the base is 1, the hypotenuse will always remain as 2. Why I am saying this? See, if you if you use a Pythagoras theorem and find hypotenuse, you will get exactly 2 if it is root 3 and 1. Okay, so if you are not very sure about what Pythagoras theorem is nothing but hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus perpendicular square. Okay, this relation is called Pythagoras theorem. Now I'll just prove what I have shown here. Perpendicular is given as root 3. Now perpendicular will be root 3 since it has square, so I'm putting in square, plus what is base here? Base is 1, so let it be 1 square. Now let's find out 1 plus what is root over 3 square? That will be just 3. Now it will be 4. Now what is 4? 4 is nothing but 2 square, isn't it? Now hypotenuse square, which is 2 square, then hypotenuse will be just 2. So 2 is here. So that's how you can prove what I have given the value here is correct or incorrect. So as I have proved, it is correct. All right. So let me just quickly continue. Let me clear this first. All right. Okay. Now let's look about, since the base angle is 60, let me start with 60. Let's say sine 60. What is the value of sine 60? Now if I ask you, you will have to check that the value chart, right, from your book. Now you'll have to find it. Now if you have memorized them, then you'll have to write the value. In case if you have forgotten 1%, it's a high chance that you will mess up with the values. Okay, but if you learn this technique, you will never be wrong. Okay, so sine 60. You remember in our previous session, we have learned one sentence. What was that? Some people have curly black hairs turned permanently brown. Now, according to that, what is the ratio of sine theta? Some people have perpendicular by hypotenuse, isn't it? According to that. Now, what is perpendicular here? Perpendicular is root 3. So, sine 60 will be root 3 upon hypotenuse is 2. That's all. That's how you will remember. It's very easy, very simple. I would encourage you to practice it again and again. Okay. Sine 60. So if you know sine 60, you will also know cosec 60, right? Because cosec is the it's not theta, it's 60. So cosec 60 will be just the reciprocal of this. So reciprocal will be 2 by root 3. See, if you know one value, you will know the other value as well. So similarly, if you go to cos 60, now what is the ratio of cos? According to that sentence in my previous session, some people have curly black hair. Curly black hair. C stands for curly, black hair. Black hair. See? Curly black hair. Base by hypotenuse. What is base here? Base is 1 and hypotenuse is 2. So 1 by 2 is cos 60. Now what is the reciprocal of cos? It is sec. Sec 60. So it will be very easy to find sec 60 as well. So what will be sec 60? Sec 60 is going to be the reciprocal of 1 by 2. So it will be 2 by 1. Or you can just write 2. 2 by 1, the 1 in denominator, you don't need to write. We know that, right? So sec 60 is just 2. All right? This is how you remember. Now the last one is tan. Tan 60. So what is tan 60? Now you remember that sentence again. Some people have curly black hairs. Turn permanently brown. Turn permanently brown. Turn, T stands for tan. Turn permanently brown. P by B. Perpendicular upon base. What is perpendicular? Perpendicular is again root 3. And what is base? Base is 1. That means you don't need to write 1 actually. It is just root 3. Okay? So tan 60 is root 3. Now what about cot? Cot is the reciprocal of tan, right? So cot 60 will be, reciprocal of root 3 will be 1 by root 3. That's all. Now you have learned all the 60 degrees angles. All the angles which is 60 degree, you have learned that. Sine 60, cos 60, tan 60, cosec 60, sec 60 and cot 60. See, you have learned all this now. I would encourage you to practice this. Always make this triangle. Keep this in your mind. If you know this triangle, you know all the angles which is based on 30 and 60. Now I have just taught you 60. Now you might be asking, what about 30? Okay, let me explain you. I hope you understood this 60. Great. Let me clear this and I'll show you 30 as well. Okay. All right. Now let's look to angle 30. Sine 30. Now, whatever angle mentioned here, it should be a base angle, okay? Now look at here, where is 30? 30 is here. This is 30 degree in the triangle. Look at the triangle, where is 30? This is 30. Now since it is sine 30, you have to consider this one as base. You have to rotate this triangle. Let me rotate it if possible. Let me check if it works. Okay, there is no option to rotate it, but if I draw it once again, it will be something like this. The base will come, this one will come like this, so it will see like this. Okay, if it is rotated like this. All right, see, the triangle has been rotated like that. This 30 will come here, this one will be 30, and the 60 will go up. This is 60, sorry. This 60 will go up, 90 is here. This is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, the value of hypotenuse is 2. It will remain the same. Now this perpendicular now becomes a base. Now this one will be root 3. The base becomes root 3 now. Now this base, as it is rotated, this becomes perpendicular. Now what was the value of perpendicular? It was 1. Right? So this is how it will look. I hope this makes sense. Now I can clear this part. I'll clear this, and we will take the reference of this angle, this triangle. Right. Now we can take a reference of this triangle now. Yeah, my diagram is very bad, but I hope you understood. This is 30, this is 60, and this is 90 degree. Now sine 30, what is the ratio of sine? You remember again that sentence. So as I told you in my previous session, that sentence is very powerful. You have to use that sentence every time. So that's why if you were expert in that sentence, you have learned 50% of trigonometry, okay? Because that is going to use everywhere. So sine, some people have, right? People have P by H. Now P by H. Now which one is P here? This become P. This is perpendicular now. And this is base. And this is hypotenuse, all right? So it will become 1 upon root 3. Oh, sorry, it is not root 3. It's hypotenuse, isn't it? Hypotenuse is 2. 1 by 2. So sine 30 is 1 by 2. See how easy is that? Now, the reciprocal of sine 30 is cosec. So cosec 30 will be, the reciprocal of 1 by 2 will be just 2. Now let me show you cos 30. Cos 30 will be curly black hair. See, remember the sentence again. Some people have curly black hair. Curly, C stands for curly, C stands for cos, black hair. B by H. Now what is B here? B is root 3 and H is 2. Now the reciprocal, what is the reciprocal of cos? Which is sec. Sec 30. So sec 30 will be the reciprocal of root 3 upon 2. So it will be 2 by root 3. Alright? Make sense? Okay. Now what about tan 30? Tan 30. Turn permanently brown. Turn permanently brown. So turn permanently brown. Permanent, P stands for permanent, brown, B stands for brown. So perpendicular by base. Okay. Now what is perpendicular here? Perpendicular is 1. What is base? Root 3 is base. Now what about cot 30? Just the reciprocal of 1 by 3. So which will be just root 3. The reciprocal of 1 by root 3 is just 3. Okay. So that's all. Now you have learned 30 degree and 60 degree. See, I will not encourage you to memorize the table. It is very much, you might have learned, but it's very easy to forget and very easy to confuse also. Very easy to jumble up the values. So I would suggest you always make a picture of this triangle in your mind. Then find the value which will be 100% accurate and you will never go wrong. Okay. So all you need to do here is just learn to draw the diagram. Learn to draw that triangle with the appropriate values. The longer side will always remain as root 3. The shorter side will always remain as 1. And the hypotenuse will always remain as 2. And this figure is reserved for 30 degree and 60 degree. Alright? I hope that makes sense. Great, perfect. Now we are very much expert with 30 degree and 60 degree. If any question comes with 30 degree and 60 degree, I hope you will be able to do it. Now let's look to 45 degree. It's time for 45 degree. Okay, 45 degree is very easy. Let me clear this first. Okay, let's look to 45 degree. Now think about it. When one angle of a right angle triangle is 45 degree, what will be the angle of the third angle? I mean, what will be the measure of the third angle? See, this is 90 degree, and if this is 45 degree, what will be this angle? 45, right? Because the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degree. So it needs to be 45. All right? Okay. Now we are going to use that logic here. As I told you, my figure may not be perfect, but you have to understand it. This is 90 degree. Okay. Now if this angle becomes 45 degree, what will be this angle? This will be 45, because the sum of all the angles should be 180 degree. Now see, if these two angles are equal, what about these two sides? Are they equal? Yes. They become isosceles triangle. Okay. So whatever the value here, that value will be here as well. So for 45 degree, what you have to remember is the base. This is base. Base is always 1. And perpendicular is also always, tell me what will be the value. If base becomes 1, what will be the value of perpendicular? Since they are equal in length, so it will be 1 as well, right? So when they are 1, this is 1, this is 1, according to the Pythagoras theorem, the hypotenuse will become root 2. Great. So this is what you have to remember. That's all. This figure you have to remember. Once you remember this figure for 45 degree, then you will able to answer any trigonometric ratios for 45 degree. Okay. Now let's jump to the values. Let's say sine 45. What is sine 45? Again, I'm going back to our previous session where it says some people have. People have, right? P by H. So what is P by H? This is P, this is H. So 1 by root 2. Now what about cosec? Cosec 45. So cosec is the reciprocal of sine 45. Sine. So it will become cosec 45 is the reciprocal of sine 45. Yes, I was right. So it will be root 2. What about cos 45? Curly black hair. You remember? Curly black hair. C stands for curly, C stands for cos. Black hair. B by H. What is B here? 1. H is root 2. They are same. So if they are same, then sec, the value of sec 45 will also same. Sec will be reciprocal of 1 by 2, 1 by root 2, which is just root 2. Okay, you don't need to write 1 in the denominator. By default, every denominator has 1. Okay, if there is nothing written over there. Now, tan 45. What about tan 45? What is the ratio? Turn permanently brown. Turn permanently brown. T stands for turn, T stands for tan. Permanently brown. Permanently P. Brown is B. So P by B. P is what? 1. B is what? 1. Because both are same. Because it is an isosceles right angle triangle. So 1 upon 1 is always 1. So if tan 45 is 1, what about cot 45? Which is the reciprocal of tan. So cot 45 will also be 1. See, 45 degree is, for me, it is the easiest one. But if you do not, remember the previous tricks which I told you, the sentence in which I told you in the previous session, that some people have curly black hairs turned permanently brown, it will be very difficult to remember this. So first you have to remember that sentence, try to understand the ratios. What is sine? Sine is some people have perpendicular by hypotenuse. What is cos? Curly black hairs. B by H, base by hypotenuse. What is tan? Turn permanently brown. T stands for tan. The tan equal to permanently brown, perpendicular by base. So that's what you have to remember. Once you remember this, it will be very easy to find the angles. Okay, you are already now expert with 30 degree, 45 degree and 60 degree. All right, now we will go to 0 degree and 90 degree. Now these degrees are little bit different than this, because these degrees are not possible. I'll show you what I'm saying. I have to clear all them first, everything including the diagram, because this diagram will not work anymore for 0 degree. Okay, now let's start with 0 degree. Let me change the color as well. Okay, now let's talk about 0 degree. Now as I told you, the angles which is shown here, it should be a, it should be a base angle. Okay, now if the base angle of a triangle is 0 degree, how it will looks like? For example, this is a right angle triangle. Okay, this is a right angle triangle. Now this angle, if this angle becomes 0 degree, how this angle will look like? This line will come down, right? Will touch your base. The hypotenuse will come down and it will touch base. Now your triangle will look like this, lie on the same line. That means your hypotenuse, and the base will remain same. Actually this 0 degree and 90 degree, they are the imaginary angle, okay? Sorry, imaginary triangle. You cannot form a proper triangle out of 0 degree and 90 degree. So you have to assume it, you have to imagine it, just like this. See, hypotenuse and base, they are on the same line, same length. Does it look like any triangle? I don't think so, but you have to accept it. Okay, that's how you have to remember. Now in this case, whatever the value of hypotenuse will be the value of base. In this case, hypotenuse is equal to base. All right, keep this in mind. Why I'm saying this? I'm not just asking you to remember base is equal to hypotenuse. No, look at the diagram. The triangle, if this is a triangle, if this going to be 0 degree, then the hypotenuse should come down and touch base. That is the only possible way. All right. Now, what about perpendicular? This used to be the perpendicular, right? Now, what about the perpendicular here? There is no perpendicular now. It's already touched. Base and hypotenuse are on the same line now. Now, the perpendicular will become 0 here. Okay, this is very important. Hypotenuse and base will be same and perpendicular will become 0. There is no perpendicular. But for sake of trigonometric ratios, you have to, use these values. Now, let's look to sine 0. Sine 0 degree. What is sine 0 degree? Now again, going back to the ratio, what is sine? Some people have. People have. Now what is perpendicular here? Perpendicular is 0. Perpendicular is 0. Base is what? Base can be any value. Just write h. No problem, because h and b will be equal. All right. So whatever, if the value in the numerator is 0, then that ratio always become what? 0, right? See, sine 0 is 0. Now, let's talk about cosec. Cosec 0 degree. What is cosec? Cosec is the reciprocal of sine. All right? So don't forget, the reciprocal of sine is cosec, reciprocal of cos is sec, and the reciprocal of tan is cot. All right? So the reciprocal of sine is cosec. So cosec 0 will be what? Now the reciprocal of 0 will be, it will be something like this, 1 upon 0. Now 1 upon 0 doesn't make sense. 0 cannot be in denominator. If the 0 comes in denominator, that value is called undefined. Okay? This is not defined. So the cosec 0 is undefined. Sine 0 is 0. I hope this clears you. If you have any confusion, any question, always feel free to ask your, put your question in the comment box. I'll try to answer each questions, okay? If I feel like this answers needs a huge explanation, then I will make a separate video for you. Don't worry about it. But make sure you understood it. I want all my students to be, expert in trigonometry. Okay? So, all right. So, let's go to cos. Cos 0 degree. What will be cos 0 degree now? Look at the diagram once again. This is the diagram, okay? This is the diagram, not this. This is not the main diagram for 0 degree. This is the diagram for 0 degree. What is cos? Remember the ratio again. Curly black here. Black here. Curly black here. B by H. What is B here? See here. B and H. As I told you, H is equal to B. They are same. They are equal. Now, if B and H are equal, if the same numbers divide each other, what will you get? If 6 divides 6, what will you get? If 10 divides 10, what will you get? Always 1, right? So, B upon H is 1 because B and H are equal. This is the reason, okay? So, cos 0 is 1. Now, when we talk about its reciprocal, what is the reciprocal of cos? If you remember, sec. Very good. So, sec 0 degree. So sec 0 degree, the reciprocal of 1 is just 1. All right. Now let's look to tan. Tan 0 degree. What is tan 0 degree now? What is the ratio? Tan is turned permanently brown. Permanently brown. That means P by B. Now permanently brown. What is the value of P here? P is 0. There is no perpendicular in this diagram. So P, you are going to write 0. B as it is B. So 0 upon any number is always 0. Right? Now what about cot? Cot 0 degree. What about cot? Cot 0 degree is going to be, the reciprocal of 0 is what? As I told you here, you can see in the first one, the reciprocal of 0 degree is undefined, because 0 cannot be in the denominator. That is the reason. Okay? So now we are clear with 0 degrees. I believe if you learn this technique, you are already an expert in 0 degree now. 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree and 60 degree. Now you are very much expert with all these 4 angles. Now the last one, 90 degree. Okay, now let's look to 90 degree. 90 degree. Now as I told you that the base angle should be whatever the angle given here, it should be the base angle. All right. Now in a right angle triangle, let me draw a triangle again. This is the angle. This is the normal right angle triangle. Let's say this is the normal right angle triangle. Okay. This is 90 degree. Now according to this, the base angle should also be 90 degree. That means this angle should also be 90 degree. Now can you imagine how is it possible? Will it be possible, this angle, if this angle becomes 90 degree, how this triangle will looks like? This hypotenuse needs to go up, right? It needs to go up, and it will be like this. It will go up like this. It will go up, and this line will also go up forever, and they will never touch. So you have to imagine that will touch somewhere in some other universe. So they are going to be parallel. They will never touch. They will keep growing, thinking that one day they will touch and form a right angle triangle. So that's how you have to imagine. That's how you have to assume. All right. Now look at here. This is very interesting. When we see this one going up parallelly to this become the hypotenuse. This is normally the hypotenuse. This was hypotenuse, right? Now hypotenuse came this side and is growing like this, because this become 90 degree. All right, that was the reason. Now this hypotenuse will go up, this perpendicular will also go up. Now think about it, hypotenuse and perpendicular, they are going equally and parallelly. So in that case, hypotenuse and perpendicular will be equal. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, this is just an imaginary triangle. This triangle is not possible. It's not possible to draw properly, so you have to imagine it. So the hypotenuse and perpendicular will remain same, because this is going to be 90 degree, as we are going to find a value of 90 degree. Okay, so this hypotenuse and perpendicular, they will remain same. Now what about the base? Base could be any value. Base will be any finite value. Okay, even though hypotenuse is infinite and perpendicular is also infinite. Both are infinite, but both of them are equal. Okay, hypotenuse is equal to perpendicular is equal to infinite, but base is finite. We are not putting any value. Just think any random value of b. Just keep it b as it is. All right, because we don't require it. So let's find sine 90. What is sine 90? Some said it is sin. It is not sin. Okay, we call it sine. So sine 90 is some people have, we know the sentence, right? People have P by H. Now what is P by H here? P by H. P and H, they are equal, even though they are infinite. So if the two numbers are equal, the same number divide each other, then it is just 1. Okay, so the reciprocal of sine is cosec. Cosec 90 is also 1, because the reciprocal of 1 is 1. Now let's look to cos 90. What is cos 90? What is cos 90? What is cos? What is the ratio of cos? Some people have curly black hairs. Curly black hairs. Curly, C stands for curly, black hairs. Black hairs. B by H. What is B here? Any finite value is B. This is B. And what is hypotenuse? Okay, hypotenuse is C. Hypotenuse is infinite. It will keep going till eternity. So think about it. A number which is divided by infinite, that means that number will be very small. Okay, that number will be very, very, very small, which is very close to 0. So we consider this as 0. Okay, if any number is divided by infinite is very much close to 0, so it is always considered as 0. Please don't forget this. This is very important. Any number which is divided by infinite, the value becomes very small, very much, equivalent to 0. That's why we always put the value as 0. Now what is the reciprocal of cos? It is sec. Sec 90 degree. So sec 90 degree will be what? The reciprocal of 0. What is the reciprocal of 0? We know that it is undefined, right? Because 0 cannot comes in denominator. That is the reason. Now think about tan 90. What about tan 90? Some people have curly black hairs turn permanently brown. Permanently brown. Permanently brown. P by B. Now what is P by B? What is P here? P is infinite again. P is infinite. And what about base? Base is B. The base is finite. Now see, since P is infinite, B is finite, the number which you are going to, if you divide infinite number by any finite number, that will be very, very, very close to infinite. That will remain infinite. Now infinite, we don't know the exact value of infinite, so we are giving it as undefined. Okay? Make sense? Alright? So tan 90 is undefined, so what will be cot 90? Cot 90 is the reciprocal of infinite upon finite. So now denominator become infinite, which is very close to 0. Exactly like this, like cos 90. So it will be 0. That's all, dear friends. So sine 90 is 1, cosec 90 is 1, cos 90 is 0, sec 90 is undefined, tan 90 is undefined, and cot 90 is 0. I hope these sessions give you some, boost you some confidence, give you some confidence. I believe that you will start loving trigonometry by now. Alright? So the only thing is, keep practicing whatever we have learned in these 2 sessions. That will really boost up. If you clear these 2 chapters, I'm sorry, not a chapter, these 2 sessions. This is very easy sessions, but if you are very much clear about this thing, you are going to be expert. No one can stop you. You are going to excel in trigonometry. Alright? Thank you very much for watching. See you in next video. Have a great day. Bye.